My name is Valeria Pavlova. I'm from Moscow, Russia, and well, I work like my regular job is I organize conferences and scientific seminars at the university, but I also volunteer at the Integration Center for Migrant and Refugee Children that is called Kids Are Kids. We live in a society and we need each other to support each other. And sometimes when people have problems with government or with something else, they need support not only of their families but of their friends, or not only their friends but people around them, like people who they interact every day. And solidarity is being able and willing to help another person, not only in a difficult situation, but in any other situation, to being open, to interact, to be a part of this community. The history of humanity on people is a history of migration, and people always moved from one place to another where they were born, like for looking for better opportunities, or just because sometimes they were forced to move somewhere, or sometimes they just wanted to move somewhere else. And I think we all at some point at our lives are migrants. For example, I was born in a small town in Russia, Cheboksary, and I moved to Moscow after I finished high school, and I was 17 years old. And though it was the same culture at the same time, somehow it was different, and I was in a different situation and I had to adjust. And I think many people in their lives, even if they don't leave their place, their towns, they do, growing up, they have to adjust to new circumstances, to new communities, and this is part of our life. To be honest, first I started volunteering not in Russia, but first I went to Kenya, to Africa, and in the beginning it was two things. First, I wanted to volunteer and see other cultures, how people live somewhere else, and I was fascinated by African, it was so different to me. And I wanted to not just to travel there and be this tourist who doesn't really interact with people but just passes by. And I decided for myself that I want to live there for some time, so I stayed there for 1 year and I volunteered at the children's center. And there I somehow I realized that this is what I would like to do, to interact first of all with children and also to help other people. And when I came back to Moscow, I realized that you don't have to go somewhere else, you don't have to volunteer in some other country. You can do it in your own country and help people who live there or who come to Russia from other countries. To accept yourself and to accept other people. It's more like not skills, it's more like your attitudes, your character, how you interact with people. And in different NGOs and different organizations, people need different skills, but it's not... you can apply your professional skills in your real life to different circumstances. And there is no particular set of skills that you really need, but you need to be a person who I guess respectful is the most important word here. When I first went to Kenya, my parents didn't understand. They just didn't, they were not opposing, but at the same time, they were not supportive in a way. They just thought, okay, you can do this, you're young, maybe, you can try whatever you want, but at the same time, there wasn't, it wasn't something that they shared in a way. But right now, they think that it is important to participate in this kind of work because, I guess, because they still live in this town, Cheboksary, and they do help each other. They do help like their relatives or their friends and people. They work together, but they never saw this as volunteering or helping people. It was just part of their life. It was always important because when you live in a community, it's important to help each other. And my friends, well, I think most young people in Russia, and especially in Moscow, like it's a big city, people who go to universities and they are educated, they are socially aware and socially responsible. So they do understand the importance of this kind of work. I volunteer at this integration center for kids, for migrant and refugee children, and I teach Russian and English, and I also coordinate volunteers who teach English. We all have our regular jobs, and these jobs they're very stressful sometimes, or you became like by the end of the day you feel very tired and you have all your thoughts and frustrations. But somehow when you come to the center and you start interacting with kids, talking to them, this connection between two people, just somehow like your headache is gone, like your worries are gone, and I don't know, it's just magical how everything changes with the attitude of another person when you feel that you're really connected to someone. People need opportunities to meet with a person from different culture. We talk about particularly about refugees and migrants, because I know that many people, for example, in Moscow, they live in a parallel universe. They never meet these people. Because, for example, they get out of their houses, they get in their cars, they go to work, then they go to restaurant, then go back to home, and they never meet people around. They only meet people that they knew for a long time, or they met at work. And I think there should be more spaces where people have chance to meet with another person that outside their circle. This is a very good project because it's very important to, first of all, meet people from similar project from different countries and to hear their points of view, their stories, how they work, what kind of problems they deal with, because at the end, as we found out here, like many organizations, they face the same problems, same issues, and to know how they deal with these issues in their countries is very important. And also, it's very important to know that you are not alone in this.